Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another Glacial Geek Battle Report. I am Phil, the Glacial Geek, coming to you here from Tier 1 Cards and Games in Anchorage, Alaska, where I will be fighting a 1,500-point 8th Edition Battle Report between my Dark Angels and Assassins against Jacob's Necrons. So the story that we've got here is that the Imperial Forces are trying to hold the line against a tomb world that has opened up, and they've been streaming out, trying to take over the planet, and the Dark Angels and their assassin allies here have set up a last line of defense to try to hold the line against the Horde as it keeps washing over towards them, trying to hold off so that the Imperial citizens can be evacuated before they themselves evacuate the planet, and then they try to exterminate the planet, which is the only way to take care of a Necron Tombworld that's opening up. So that's the basic story that we've got going on here. You may notice that I have nothing set up on the board, but there are a whole bunch of markers along here. That's because we are playing the Meat Grinder mission, which actually states that I'm going to be the defender, and I have to set up. What I do is, instead of setting up, I put markers corresponding to each of my units along here, and then he set up his guys based upon those markers, but not knowing what each of those markers represented. So what we'll do is we'll before we go any further, let's show you the two armies, and then we'll come back to you showing the deployment that I actually ended up having. So for the Dark Angels, I'll be running a battalion detachment. Leading off that detachment, we have Azrael and a librarian with a force sword. We have an apothecary. We have an Evisor assassin. We have a Calexis assassin, and we have a Vindicator assassin. We have a 5-man scout squad with camo cloaks and sniper rifles. We have a second 5-man scout squad with camo cloaks and sniper rifles. We have a 5-man scout squad with bolters. We have a 5-man devastator squad with 4 plasma cannons. We have a second 5-man devastator squad with 4 las cannons. We have a company veteran squad with 4 melta-guns. We have a drop pod. And last but not least, we have a land speeder Vengeance. And for the Necrons, you'll be running a battalion detachment. Leading off that detachment, we have 2 catacomb command barges with war scythes and a cryptek. We have 2 5-man immortal squads with Tesla carbines. We have a 20-man warrior squad. We have 2 6-man Scarab Swarm squads. We have a 3-man Destroyer squad.
At least you feel like
we have a 5-man Deathmark squad. And last but not least, we have a Satan Shard of the Nightbringer. All right, so those are the armies that we'll be fighting out today. Going over deployment here, I've got a squad of sniper scouts up in here. I've got my Vindicator assassin over here. I've got Azrael and my librarian. I've got my las devs here. I've got my Landspeeder Vengeance here. Bolter scouts up front there. I've got 4 bolter scouts. I've got my plasma dev squads here. I've got the sniper scouts, the other side of sniper scouts up here. And then I've got, in this drop pod, I have my company veterans and apothecary, and we've got my 2 assassins. Technically, if you look at the rules there, the defenders can't do any of this setup, like that can come later, but we just decided that we wanted to have it so that they could, so we could try out some of these new things. But now going over deployment for the Necrons, we've got his Satan Shard there, surrounded by the 2 squads of Scarabs each. We've got a Catacomb Command Barge. We've got the Immortals. We've got the big squad of Warriors and the Cryptek in the middle there. We've got the other squad of Immortals there, the other Catacomb Command Barge, and the Destroyers over here. And the death marks are in what is it, hyperspace?
Ooblet.
Yeah, Ooblet, hyperspace Ooblet, whatever it is. So they're just basically going to come. They can come later in the game. There's some interesting rules that they can do, which actually might come in handy, or come into effect, which is kind of another reason why we wanted to do it the way we did it. So that's what they've got. So during this mission, what's going to happen is he has to try to kill off my entire army. That's how he wins, is killing off my entire army. I just have to hold out to the end of the game. It's a regular random length game, so 5 turns, and then we start rolling to see if it goes any further. But beyond that, he has something assault, where continuous assault, which is basically any of his models, any of his squads that get completely wiped, at the beginning of each of his turns, he gets to roll a d6. On a 4+, that unit comes back and has to basically set up within 6 inches of his table edge, and they just keep rolling through trying to take me out. So it's kind of works out perfectly for this, where it represents like the opening of a tomb world, just kind of forcing its way across the table, trying to take out my defenders here, trying to hold the city here. So that's what they've got going on here. So before we go any further, though, we will come back to you with the roll-off to see who goes first. All right, so here it comes. He's going to roll a d6. On a 1, 2, 3, he'll go first. On a 4, 5, 6, I'll go first. 5, so the defenders will go first. Before we go any further, though, we're going to do something. They have an orbital bombardment, basically, that they get to do. So we'll come back to you with that. All right, so what this is preliminary bombardment. It's these guys have started shooting off some, I don't know, Necron bombs or something at the defenders here. Yeah, obelisks have set off table there, shooting here. So what happens is we roll a d6 for each of my units on the table here. On the result of a 6, that unit takes d6 mortal wounds. If it's an infantry unit, it can go to ground and only suffer d3 mortal wounds, but then it can't do anything that first turn. So let's start off for here. We've got the scouts over here. No, nothing there. These guys. No. These las cannon guys here. No. We'll go with the bolter scouts. No. Librarian. No. Azrael. Fives. Lots of 5s. No. This Landspeeder Vengeance. No. Vindicare Assassin. No. And Sniper Scouts. No. Lots of 5s. If you're shooting, that does bode well for you the rest of the game, but just no 6s. So, all right, so the orbital bombardment, I guess they were dug in properly and managed to survive the bombardment. So that's it for the beginning of the game here. We will come back to you after movement phase for the Dark Angels here on turn 1. All right, movement phase for the Dark Angels here on turn 1. These guys all stood still where they were, and these guys dropped in here. So that's it for the movement phase. We will come back to you with the shooting phase. All right, so starting off here, we've got my scout snipers here are going to fire into his Catan shard there. So we got 5 shots hitting on 3s. Okay, all hits, which I could save these 6s for this one, because wounding on 5s, 6s inflict a mortal wound as well. Yeah, okay, that's, yeah, nothing there, okay. All right, so the plasma cannon guys here are going to fire into his front scarab swarm there. So they are heavy D3s, so we've got 4 of them. Heavy D3. We got 1, 2, 3, 6. So we'll come back to you with that. So now they are wounding on 2s because the scarabs are toughness 3, the strength 7 on the plasma cannons. So wounding on 2s. That one's cocked. All right, so we've got 4 wounds, which means 1 scarab base is dead and 1 takes 1 wound. All right. Now these guys here are going to shoot into his destroyers. They're only in range of 2 of the guys, but that's still within range here. So we've got 4 shots now, hitting on 3s. Okay, so we've got 3 hits. Strength 8, toughness 5, so wounding on 3s. Okay, we got 2 wounds. These are D6 each. He doesn't get any saves because it's AP -4. So the first one is 6 wounds, so he is dead. And then the second one is 3 wounds, which is also dead. So that is 2 guys dead. These guys now are going to fire into his Cryptek over there. So we got 5 shots hitting on 3s. Okay, we got 3 hits. Strength 4, toughness 4, wounding on 4s. So we got 3 wounds. No mortal wounds there. He's got a 3-up save because it's a 4-up, and he's in cover there. So he makes 2 of them, just takes 1 wound. Okay. Now my Vindicare Assassin's going to fire into his Cryptek over there. So hitting on a 2. That's a hit. Wounding on a 2 because he's an infantry model. I'm going to use my command point to reroll that. Okay, that's actually a wound. It's AP -3, so you have a 6-up save because you don't get cover. Oh, no. He has a 4-up normally. Oh, so he doesn't have a save because it ignores cover as well and ignores invul saves. So, so it was a wound of a 4, so it's D3 wounds onto him. 3 wounds, and he's dead, right? Oh, he's dead. These guys here are gonna fire into his immortals there. So we got 5 shots hitting on 3s. Okay, toughness 4, so wounding on 4s. Okay, 1 wound. No AP. So they're 3 up. Oh, 2 ups because it's 3 up save plus 1 for cover. 1.
Oh, okay.
1 2 up, and he's good. So he is going to fire into his Catacomb Command Barge over there. It's we're gonna go with the Plasma Storm battery first. So heavy D6. Cocked. 1. All right. Strength 7, toughness 6, so wound down a 3. Now the heavy bolter is gonna fire into him. So 3 shots hitting on 3s. All right. So we got 2 hits. Strength 5, toughness 6, so wounding on 5s. No wounds. Now, the last cannons here are going to fire into his Catacomb Command Barge. The yellow one's going to be the one that's granted the Signum, which is +1 to hit. So they're going to be hitting on 3s. This one will hit on a 2. All right. So we got 3 hits. Strength 9, toughness 6, so wounding on 3s. Okay, we got 2 wounds. 6 up save because it's AP -3, I think. Hold on a second. It's actually -3, so he's got 2 6 up saves. Nope, both go through. So now here's the thing. I now roll D6 each for wounds on these. He has something called Quantum Shielding, which says that he ignores, is it just the hit if it's all the damage from each of these if you can roll below the damage from the shot. So here comes the D6 for the 2 of them. Okay, we got a 6, so he's going to ignore that entirely. No. Oh no, if he rolls a 6. So let's do the 6 one first. If you roll a 6, no, he rolls a 4. So this one's ignored, and now we've got the 4, and he ignores that one as well. Well done with the Quantum Shielding. That's really brutal. And that is it for the Dark Angel's turn here on turn 1. We will come back to you with the Necron's turn here on turn 1. So at the beginning of his turn, he's now going to roll for a reanimation protocol for these guys. What it is at the beginning of his turn, he now rolls a D6 for each model lost in a unit that has reanimation protocol. On a 5+, that model comes back. So here he lost 2 of them here. So looking for 5 ups on these. No, neither of them. So they are just dead. All right. And now we'll come back to you after movement phase for the Necrons on turn 1. Movement phase here for the Necrons on turn 1. These guys all advanced up this way. He shot up over this way. These guys moved up over this way. These guys are all moving up this way. And he is moving up over towards them. So that's it for the movement phase. Now, the scenario here has something called continuous assault. So what happens is, on a 4+, any unit that has been killed at the beginning of his phase, or the end of his movement phase, can now roll, and on a 4+, it can come back on within 6 inches of the table edge. So he had that Cryptek died. So we're going to roll now. On a 4+, it will come back. No, so it is still off on the side. But it can still keep rolling as we keep going forward. So, oh, he's going to spend a command point to re-roll that. Pretty nice. No.
Just got worse.
Just got worse. It's even less coming back. All right, so that is it for the movement phase. We'll come back to you with the shooting phase. His destroyer is going to shoot into my Landspeeder Vengeance. So 2 shots hitting on 3s. All right, 1 hit, wounding on a 5. No wound. His Catacomb Command Barge is going to fire into my company veterans over here. So hitting on 3 because he moved. They're heavy. So that's 2 hits. Strength, what is it again? 5. So wounding on 3s. We got 2 wounds. It's AP -3. So their 3 up save becomes a 6 up, but they're in cover there. So it becomes a 5 up. So we got 2 5 ups. I made 1, so 1 goes through D3, but yeah. So 1 of them is dead. All right. And now this command barge is going to fire into my last cannon bros here. So 2 shots hitting on 3s. It's got 1 hit, wounding on a 3. That's a wound. They've got a 4-up invul save because they're within 6 inches of Azrael. They're good. Woo! So these guys here are now going to fire into my las cannon bros. They have assault weapons and they did advance, so they would be at -1. But they were given what's it called? My will from these guys, which gives them +1 to hit. So they're going to be hitting on 3s like they would normally. They have 2 shots each shooting into here. On to hit rolls of 6, they get 2 additional wound rolls that they can throw on there. +1, and he's got +1 to hit, so it's actually going to be on 5s. So if any 5s or 6s, they're going to get +2 wound rolls. So here we go, hitting on 3s. All right. And then there's that one there. That was a 3, wasn't that? That you took off there? I think there was a. Hold on a second. All right, so he did have the extra one that was a 3 that he accidentally picked up, and we talked about it. And because he also has the -1 for advancing while shooting the assault weapons, that 5 doesn't give him because it's +1 -1, so it'd still be at a 6. So he's got an additional 4 rolls here, plus the 1 that he had that he picked up accidentally. So that's 4, 5, plus an additional 5. So he's going to have 10 rolls here to wound. Strength, what is it again?
5.
Strength 5, so wounding on 3s. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What's the AP on this? No AP on this, so here come 7 2-up saves because they got 3 up plus 1 for being in cover. And and I lose 4 of them. Wow. I'm actually going to use a command point to reroll one of these. Okay. Thank God for that cover. Thank God for cover. All right, so I only lost 3. Now these guys here are going to fire into them. They don't have the +1 for my will, but they also didn't advance. So they're going to be shooting at regular ballistic skill here. So hitting on 3s with 1 6. So that's going to be an additional 2 for that one. So these are going to be hitting. Now they're strength 5, so wounding on 3s. Alrighty. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 again. So 7 2+ saves. Please don't roll as best you did last time. 2-up saves. And I failed it too. So yeah, that unit is dead. The warriors are going to fire into my scouts up here. They have my will, so they're going to have +1 to hit. 3 of them are in rapid fire range, so this is 23 shots coming in here. These are going to be hitting on 2s because of the my will that they've got coming in here. So hitting on 2s. All right, we'll figure this out and come back to you. Now they'll be wounding on 4s against my guys here. All right, we'll come back to you with that. Okay, we had 12 wounds. The AP is -1, so they have a 4-up save, +1 for cover, -1 for the AP. Looking for 12 4-ups. And nope, they are super dead. I made 4 of them. Now his Catan is going to use, what is it, the antimatter meteors as his power of the Catan. So it's what happens is the closest enemy unit within 24 inches, which is going to be these guys here, on a 2-up, they suffer D3 mortal wounds. So 2-up, okay, and D3 mortal wounds. 2 wounds, so 2 are going to be dead. All right. That is it for the shooting phase. On to the assault phase. He is going to charge into these guys. So I'm going to fire Overwatch. We're going to shoot with my Meltaguns here. Hitting on, these are hitting on 6s. Nope, nothing there. And then the bolt pistol. No. So he has a 6-inch charge. Looking for 6 inches. And he is in. Ooh, barely, but in. All right, so we'll move him in, and we'll come back to you with a fight sub-phase. All right, so now he is going to attack first because he charged. So he's got 3 attacks here, hitting on 2s. All right, so that's 3 hits. Strength, he has the war size, so strength +2, AP -4. So he's looking at strength 7, so looking for 3s to wound. All right, so we got 1 wound. One just dead because it's AP -4. So one guy is dead. I'm gonna take this guy. All right. So we'll come back to you with my attacks. Now my guys are going to attack. Let's move him in there. We have 2 attacks each for the guys with the melta-guns, and he has the sergeant has 3 attacks plus 1 for the chainsword. So here we go. These are going to be hitting on 3s. Alrighty, not bad. Now these are going to be wounding on 5s. So we've got 1 wound, 3 up save. He's good. Now, that's it for the fight phase. So now we're going to go on to the morale phase. These guys lost 2, so they are looking for leadership 7. So 2 plus 1, so they're good. Finally, 1 actually works for me. So that is it for the Necron's turn here on turn 1. We will come back to you after movement phase for the Dark Angels on turn 2. All right, movement phase for the Dark Angels. These guys stood still. He stood still. He stood still. He kind of shuffled over a bit. He jumped down back over here. These guys stood still. These guys stood still. And in came... Oh, these guys fell back over to this way. And in came my Calexis and my Eversur. So, after he did that, his death marks have a special rule called, what is it? Ethereal Interception, which means that when a unit of mine is deployed, not during deployment and not as coming out of a transport, they can now deep strike or come into the game more than 9 inches away from that unit, but within 12 inches, more than 9 inches away from any enemy unit, but within 12 inches of the unit that just came in. So he's placed them over here, 9 inches away from my dude bro over here. And now they get to make an attack. So they have rapid fire. What's the range of their guns?
24 inches.
24 inches, so they're within rapid fire. So they're going to have 10 shots here. Yep. Hitting on what? 3s. Hitting on 3s. Ooh. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Oh, one second.
I'm mortal wound.
And now they're rolling, looking for 4s to wound. 6s will do a mortal wound. So we got 1 mortal wound and 5 saves that I have to make. No, it's a plus a mortal wound, I believe. Hold on, let's just make sure. All right, so he's going to have 1 wound because he's got that 1 mortal wound. So now I have 5 4-up saves because he got 4-up invul saves. Oh, failed 3. Let's, I'm not sure if he's still alive. Let me find out. All right, so he's got 2 wounds left. All right, so that is end of that. Now we'll come back to you with the other thing that happens at the end of the movement phase. Now we're going to use the Narthesium ability of the Apothecary. Basically what it is if he ends the movement phase within 3 inches of a unit, if there's a model in there that's wounded, they automatically gain back D3 wounds. Otherwise, I roll a, if they've lost a model, they can roll a D6. On a 4+, a model from that unit comes back with 1 wound left. If I fail that roll, my Apothecary can't do anything else for the rest of the game, for the rest of the turn, because he's just collecting the gene seeds. So let's see, on a 4+, no. So he will be doing nothing, and they don't get their guy back. All right, so that is the end of the movement phase. We will come back to you with the shooting phase. All right, my mistake. We were actually doing psychic phase, so he is going to cast smite against him. So looking for a 5-up. Oh, and I get an 11, so that means it's D6 mortal wounds. D6. 6! So he takes 6 wounds. How many does he have? He might have 8, so we're going to figure, but either which way, he has 8, so he takes 6 mortal wounds. That is awesome. So now he is going to fire in the shooting phase into his Catacomb Command Barge. So the Plasma Storm Battery is heavy D6. I'm going to use a command point to reroll that 1. Ha! Yes, it's a 1 again. All right, so 1 shot. Strength 7, toughness was 6. So wounding on a 3. All right, see, you couldn't have come up in 2 seconds before. So that is a wound, AP -3. So he's got a 6-up save, or does he have an invul save? 6-up save. No, he doesn't make it. So that is 2 damage. So he actually gets to roll on a 1. He'll ignore it. No, ooh, that was so close. All right, so he's dead. All right, right, 2 damage, right? That's all I needed. Okay, I'll take that. All right, so he's been reduced to 0. So on a 6, he explodes. No, the opposite. So he's good to go. Now these guys are going to fire into his immortals over there. So D3 shots each. All right, so we've got 3, 6, 7, 8. All right, we'll come back to you with that. All right, so we have 8 shots here, hitting on 3s. All right. We got 4 hits. Wounding on 3s. All right, we got 3 wounds. 3 5-up saves because it's AP -3, which comes to 6, but he's in cover. So 3 of them are dead. These guys here are going to fire into his death marks, hitting on 3s. All right, so 2 hits. Strength 4, toughness 4. So wounding on 4s, 6s also do a mortal wound. Cocked. Oh, okay, so we got 1 mortal wound, and then we've got 2 saves, so it's AP is 0, so they're going to have 2 2-ups. All right, so 2 of them are dead. Okay, Azrael is going to fire both profiles of his combi plasma into them. So what happens is I fire them at a -1, but I get to fire both. So I'm going to fire the bolt gun, the mastercrafted bolt gun, which is usually hitting on a 2, but because I'm firing both, it'd be hitting on a 3. But he gets to reroll all failed hits, so I'll get to reroll 1s since the reroll happens before the modifier. So he would usually hit on a 2. So here comes the bolt gun shot, hitting on a 3, or hitting on a hitting on a 3. Okay, that's a hit. Strength 4, toughness 4, looking for a 4 to wound. No wound there. So now the plasma part comes, hitting on a 3. That's a hit. Strength 7, toughness 4, so wounded on a 3. No, that's a fail there. All right. He's going to shoot his bolt pistol into those guys, hitting on a 3. That's a hit. Wounded on a 4. Nope, no wound. These guys here are going to fire into his catacomb command barge. 5 shots, hitting on 3s. All righty. 2 hits. Toughness, what is it? Toughness 6, so wounding on 5s. I got a 6 and a 5, so he takes 1 mortal wound, and then he has 2, 3-up saves? 2 3-up saves? Yeah, the vehicle, sorry, yeah. All right, so he takes 2 wounds. He is going to fire into him over here. So he has his Animus Speculus is Assault D3. So 1 shot. Strength 5, toughness looking for 5s. That's a wound. Just does 1 damage. Oh, no, on a 6. Yeah, no, just does 1 damage. All right. Let's see his save. 3-up. He's good. Sorry, that was AP -4 on that, so he doesn't get the save on that. All right, so now he is going to fire into his death marks up over here. So these are going to be 4 shots, hitting on 2s. Okay, that's 3 hits. Strength 4, toughness 4, so wounding on 4s. And I get to reroll wounds because of the fact that they're infantry. No need to reroll. That is 3 wounds, AP -1. So they're going to be getting their 3-up saves. Failed 1. And now my Vindicator is going to fire into the Destroyer there, hitting on a 2. That's a hit. Wounding on a 2. That is a wound. AP -4, so he doesn't get a save. Oh, no, he gets a 6-up save because he's in cover. Isn't it? 3-up becomes... Oh, no. Oh, wait. Oh, that's right. I ignore cover. Haha. That's right. I forgot about that. So it's D3 wounds. 1 wound. All right. Drop pod's going to fire Stormbolter into his Destroyer over there. 2 shots hitting on 3s. 2 hits. Wounding on 4s. We got 1 wound. 1. What's strength? Strength 4? Oh, toughness 5? But it's a 6, so it is a wound. That's his save, and he is good. All right, so that's it for shooting phase. On to the assault phase. This guy is going to charge into his catacomb command barge. So here's his Overwatch. Got 1 hit. Strength, what is it? Oh, we'll figure this out. All right, so he is going to be wounding on a 3 because it's strength 5. That's a wound. -3, but he's got a 4-up invul save. No, so he fails it. So he goes how much damage? D3 damage? 3 damage, all right. So he's down to 3. So now he is going to charge. He needs a 9-inch charge to get in there. Ugh. I'm going to use a command point to reroll this. Yeah, okay, he is in. And now he is going to be charging into his Catan over here. So, what is your Overwatch here? Assault D6, so D6. 2. Hitting on 6s. We got 1 hit. Strength what? Let's figure this one out. All right, so wounds on a 2. That's a wound. It's got a 4-up invul save. Oh, and I failed it. D3. 3. He did. Okay. Wah, wah. All right, on to the fight phase. He is going to start off hitting into him. Hitting on 2s. All right. So we got 3 hits. Wounding on 5s. Got 1 wound, and armor saves cannot be taken against it. So he takes a wound. All right. All right, so now he's going to be attacking back. Hitting on 6s because on the Collected Assassin and everything counts as 6+ for weapon skill and ballistic skill. So, oh, of course. All right, so these are, so strength, what is it?
7.
Strength 7, so wounding on 3s. We got 1 wound. 4-up invul save. Oh, he was going, but no, I failed that. And it's, how much wounds? Is it 2 wounds? If it's 2 wounds, he did.
Yeah,
we're going to figure this one out. Hold on a second. And it is 2 damage. Womp womp. All right, so that is it for the Dark Angel's turn here. Everyone who lost, any unit that lost models actually doesn't have to worry about taking leadership tests because they're all leadership 10, so they didn't lose enough to get that. So that is it for the Dark Angel's turn here. We will come back to you with the Necron's turn. All right, beginning of the turn, we're going to see if he has the reanimation protocols. 2 models out on a 5-up, and they are both back. Okay. Now we're going to go with these guys. 3 of them from there. 5-ups. 1 of them comes back. And then 3 of the death marks. 1 of them comes back as well. All right, now we'll come back to you after movement phase for the Necrons here on turn 2. All right, movement phase here for the Necrons. These guys, this guy moved up here. These guys moved here. These guys moving up there. These guys are all streaming forward, crossing the battle line here. These newly replenished guys are coming up over this way. And he kind of stood where he was right over there. And these guys stood where they were. So that's it for the movement phase. At the end of the movement phase, now we roll to see if those other units that came off, that have been killed, are coming back on. So let's go with the Cryptek on a 4+. No. And now the Catacomb Command Barge on a 4+. No. That did scare me a bit. So, so that is it for the movement phase here for the Necrons on turn 2. We'll come back to you with the shooting. All right, so these guys are going to fire into my plasma devs. So 3 shots, hitting on 3s. That one's cocked. All right, so we got 2 hits. Strength 5. Strength 4. So wounded on 4s. No wounds there. The Immortals here are going to fire into my plasma devs, hitting on 3s because they did not advance. So, and the 6 gives 2 additional hits, so 6 total. Hitting on, wounding on 3s. Okay, so we got 2 wounds. AP 0, so 2 ups, and I make them both. Woo! The Immortals here are going to fire into my scouts over here. So they are going to be hitting on 3s. All right. 1-6, so that's an additional 2 for that. Pretty good. Actually, really, really good. Yeah, super good. Strength 5, so wounding on 3s. All righty. All right. So we've got 4, 5, 6. They have camo cloaks, which gives them +2 for cover. So it's AP nothing. So that becomes the 4-up becomes a 2-up. So we've got 6 2-ups. And I make them all. Woo! All right, the Warriors are going to fire into my Land Speeder Vengeance over here. So we have 20 shots that are going to be coming in to them over here. All right. So 20 shots hitting on 3s. All right, we'll come back to you with that. All right, strength 4, toughness 6, wounding on 5s. We've got 2 wounds. AP -1, so he gets a 4-up, either 4-up armor or 4-up invul for being near Azrael there. So 4 ups. And I failed them both. Okay. And now the destroyers are going to fire into my Landspeeder Vengeance, hitting on 3s. All right. Wounding on 5s. We got 3 wounds. 3. It's -3 to the AP, but he's within 6 inches of Azrael, so he gets a 4-up invul save. And I failed all of them. Yep, so there's D3 to each of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 wounds down. Okay. All right, his command barge is going to fire into my veterans over here. So hitting on 2s. Okay, so 1 hit. Strength what?
5.
Strength 5. So wounded on 3. No wound. And now he is going to fire his antimatter meteors against the scouts. So on a 2+. Yep. So D3. Oh, 3 mortal wounds. Gross. All right, so now he's going to use his gaze attack onto them. So it's assault D6. So 1 shot. He's going to use the command point to reroll that. All right, so 3 shots. Now he's going to be hitting on 3s because he advanced. So it's -1 to the shots here, to the hit roll. So hitting on 3s. All right, so we've got 2 hits. Wounds on 2s. We got 2 wounds. AP -4, you said? So they're going to be 6-up save because they've got 4-up, -4, +2 for being covered with the camo cloaks. So it's -2 becomes a 6-up. So we got 2 6-ups looking for fill faces. No, fail both. So they are dead. So now the Scarabs are going to assault in the assault phase into these guys. So they've got D3 shots each. Get back here. D3 shots. All right. So we've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shots. Looking for 6s to hit. We got 1 hit. Strength 7, toughness 3, so wounding on 2s. That's a wound. So he just takes a wound because it's AP -3. All right, they need a 6-inch charge. Oh, and they are in. All right, so now he is going to charge into them. Gonna have the melty guns fire Overwatch, hitting on 6s. Nope. And then the bolt pistol from the sergeant is a hit. Wounding on what's the toughness? Toughness 5. So toughness 6. So wounding on a 5. Oh, I saw it, but nope, no damage there. So yep, just I think like a 2-inch charge. He's in. He is in. So we'll move him in, and I think that's it for the charges, right? Yep. So we'll come back to you with the fight phase. All right. So the Scarabs are going to go first. They're going to be hitting on 3s. All right, we'll come back to you with that. And now they auto wound on 5s. So 2 wounds. 2, any AP? No AP, so 2 3-up armor saves. Failed them both. Oh. And now we're going to go over here to the Catacomb Command Barge into them. So hitting on 2s. 3 hits. Strength +1, so it becomes strength 7. So it's still wounding on 3s. All right, so we got 1 wound. 1 just dead, right? -4. So yeah, so 1 is just dead. And now these guys are going to hit into him with 6 attacks, hitting on 3s. Alrighty, so we got 4 hits. Wounding on a 5. No wounds there. And here comes the 1 attack from him. That's a hit. Wounding on a 3. Oh no, wounding on a 3. Yes, that's a wound. 6-up save. No, nothing there. All right, so that is it for the Necron's turn here. So moving on to the morale, I should say on the morale phase here. This guy's lost 2 from his unit, so looking for 7. He's good. So that is it for the Necron's turn here. We'll come back to you after movement phase for the Dark Angels on turn 3. All right, movement phase here for the Dark Angels. My librarian jumped back over this way. He stood still. Everyone else stood still. He's locked in combat, and these guys actually fell back over this way. So that is it for the movement phase. We will come back to you with the psychic phase. All right, so psychic phase. He is going to cast Smite onto these guys. Looking for a 5-up. Getting it with 8. I am going to spend a command point to reroll this. Yeah, getting up to 11, so that's D6 mortal wounds. Looking for D6. 3. Okay, so that's 3 mortal wounds. Sounds good. All right, he is going to fire his heavy bolter into these guys and the plasma storm battery into these guys. So let's do the plasma storm battery. D6. I'm going to re-roll that with a command point. 3 shots. It's still better than 1. So these are going to be hitting on 3s. So we've got 2 hits. Strength 7, toughness 5. So looking for, whoa, get back here. Strength 7, so looking for 3s. We got 1 wound. 1, I think it's AP minus 3. 5 up because he's in cover. And he's good. And now the heavy bolter into these guys, hitting on 3s. All right, 2 hits. Toughness 3, so wounded on 3s. Got 2 wounds. Minus 1, yeah. So that's just dead. All right, these guys are going to fire into those guys here. Hitting on 3s. One's cocked. All right, so 3 hits. Strength 4, toughness 5, so looking for 5s. Oh, toughness, yeah, those things. Toughness 5, so looking for 5s. We got 1, that's a 6, so that's 1 mortal wound, and then they have their regular save. Oh, failed it, so that guy is dead. All right, my Vindicare is going to fire into these guys down here. Hitting on a 2. That's a hit. Wounding on a 2. Rough, okay. All right, Azrael is going to fire his bolters into them and his plasma into them. So he's rapid firing to here, hitting on 3s because it's minus 1 since I'm firing both. Okay, this 2 would have been a hit, so I don't get to re-roll it because re-rolls happen before the modifiers. The modifier of a -1 happens after, so I would have re-rolled if it was a 1, but because he would usually hit on a 2, I don't get to re-roll that. So now, wounding on a 3, no wound there. So then the plasma is going to fire into the immortals there. Hitting on a 3, that's a hit. Strength 7, toughness 4, so wounding on a 3, nope, no wound there. And he is going to fire his bolt pistol into them. Hitting on a 3. That's a miss, but he's within 6 inches of Azrael. So that's a hit. Wounded on a 3. Nope. No wound there. All right, I think that is... no, I might have some more shooting. He's going to fire Storm Bolter into him. So, 4 shots, hitting on 3s. All righty. Wounding on a 5. That's a wound. 2 up save, or 3 up save. Yep, so he's good. And he's going to fire his bolt pistol into him, hitting on a 3. What's up? No, the apothecary. So hitting on a 3, that's a hit. Wounding on a 5, no, nothing there. And that is it for the Dark Angel's turn here. No one who lost any models actually has to take a leadership test. So we'll come back to you with the Necron's turn here on turn 3. All right, so now at the beginning of his turn, reanimation protocols. Let's see if he comes back on a 5 up. No, does not come back. And then these guys on a 5 up. No, they do not come back. And that is it. Oh, and these guys, there's 2 left from here. On 5 ups, 1 comes back. All right, so that is it for reanimation protocol. We'll come back to you after a movement phase for the Necrons here on turn 3. All right, my bad. We forgot to do the fight here. So here comes the fight. My guy has the 1 attack, hitting on a 3. Nope, no hit there. I am, yeah, I'm going to spend a command point. So I'm going to reroll that. And that's a hit. Wounding on a 3. No, okay. All right, now we'll come back to you with his attacks. And here comes his attacks, hitting on 3s. All right, we'll come back to you with that. All right, now wounding on 5s. All right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 wounds. All right, so we've got, yep, 7 3-ups. Oh, no, he's dead. All right. So that's the end of the Dark Angel's turn here. We'll come back to you with the after movement phase. All right, so movement phase here. These guys moved over this way. He moved up that way. These guys have all started coming in towards here, and everything is starting to get all up in my grill. This guy's moving over here, and he's just kind of stayed still where he was over there. That's it for the movement phase. At the end of the movement phase, let's see if his units come back on because of the continued assault. So we'll do the Cryptek first. 4 up. He is. And the Catacomb Command Barge is also on. Gross. Okay, so that is it for the movement phase. We'll come back to you with the shooting phase. All right, and he spent 2 command points on his the stratagem for this mission, which allows him to come 6 inches off of any table edge other than my deployment edge. So he decided to bring him in over here so he can do some damage, as opposed to just taking him in off of his table edge. He left the Crypt Tech to do that, but this guy, he's just moving over this way. So that is it for that. So now we'll come back to you with the shooting phase. His Immortals there are going to fire into my speeder over here. So hitting on 3s. 6s give him +2. So that is an additional 4 to that. And then there's that 1 miss. Now these are strength 5. So when on 5s. So we've got 1 wound. AP regular, right? So 3 up. He's good. Woo! And now he is going to fire his meteor shot into him over here. So on a 2+. Yep. D3. 3. So it is it's dead. Let's see if he explodes. Oh, it wanted to, but it was coming, but it didn't happen. So no explode. These guys here are going to fire into my librarian. So hitting on 3s. 6s. Those 2 6s gives them +4 hits. All right. And now these are going to be strength 5. So wounding on 3s. All right, that is a lot of wounds there. So 3, 6, 9, 10 wounds. All right, so we've got 10 3-up saves here. Looking for 3-ups. Failed 1, 2, 3, 4. So failed 4. And he's dead. Bomp, bomp. These warriors are going to fire into my Vindicator Assassin. They're going to be hitting at -2 because of his special rule, because he's in cover here. So these are going to be hitting on 5s. All right, we'll come back to that. All right, so he had 5 hits, wounding on 4s. We got 2 wounds, 2 4-up invul saves, and I've made 1. And now his destroyers are going to fire into the Vindicator, hitting on 5s. Oh man, we got 2 hits. Strength what?
Strength 5.
Strength 5, so wounding on 3s. So you got 1 wound, 4-up invul save, and I'm good. Woo! All right, his Catacomb Command Barge is going to fire into these guys, hitting on 3s, or yeah, 3s, right?
On 2s.
Hitting on 2, so it's 2 hits. Strength
5.
Strength 5, so wounding on 3s. Got 1 wound. AP
Is
-3, so +1 because of being in cover. So it's going to be a 5-up. No, 1 dead. All right, so now he's going to fire into the snipers. He counts as moving because he came in from reserves. So hitting on, those are both hit. All right, strength, looking for 3s to wound. That's 2 wounds. AP -3, +2 because of cover, so they're going to be at 5-ups. And I made 1. All right, these guys now in the charge phase are going to charge into Azrael here. He's going to fire Overwatch. He's going to fire with both weapons. So we've got the bolter here hitting on 6s. Re-rolling failed hits because of him being Azrael. All right, now the plasma hitting on 6s. Re-rolling because of failed. Oh, no, nothing there. So now their charge distance, 5 inches. I think that might get them in. Maybe, let's see. And they're good to get in. So now they're going to charge into him. All right, so he is going to fire Overwatch here. So I've got my go with my rifle, hitting on a 6. Hey, that's a hit. Wounding on a 2. That's a wound. So no save. So now D3. So that is 2 wounds onto a guy. All right, pretty good. I'll take that. Now their charge distance. 7 inches will get them in. And now he is going to charge into him. So firing Overwatch. No hit there. So his distance is in. So we'll move him in, and then we'll come back to you with the fight phase. All right, so now we're going to go over here, starting out the fight phase with his Scarabs. Hitting on 3s. All righty. Wounding on 5s. We got 1 wound. 5 up, 2 up armor save. He's good. Now the command barge is going to fire attack into him, hitting on 2s, wounding on 3s. So that is 2 wounds. So he is just dead.
So I can consolidate into him, right?
And now here come the destroyers, hitting on 3s. All right. Strength what?
4.
Strength 4, so wounding on 4s. So we got 2 wounds. 2 4-up invul saves. I make 1, so 1 goes through. How many wounds is that? Just 1 wound. Okay. All right, so now Azrael is going to be hitting into them. He's got 5 attacks, hitting on 2s. All right, re-rolling failed hits. All right, so we got 5 hits. Strength plus 2, so that becomes strength 6, toughness 3. So wounding on 2s. All right, and this is a mortal wound, and then we've got it's got an additional mortal wound. So then we've got these are going to be D3, so it's -3, so he doesn't get any saves. So these are going to be 1 at a time. We'll do this. So this is yeah. So the first one is doing D3, so 2 wounds. The second one is 3 wounds, so that's just 1 dead. Next one is 2 wounds. Plus 1 wound, so that's 2 dead, and then the other one will take the mortal wound. So 2 dead plus a mortal wound. All right. And now my Vindicator is going to go. He's got 5 attacks hitting on 2s. All right, so that's 5 hits. Strength 4, toughness 5, so looking for 5s. We got 1 wound, 1 3-up. He's good. And that is it for the Necron's turn here. No one who lost any wounds, any models, has to take any leadership tests. So, because they can't fail. So we will come back to you after movement phase for the Dark Angels here on turn 4. All right, so movement phase here for the Dark Angels. He's locked in combat. He's locked in combat. They stood still, and he moved back 6, and that is it. So we will come back to you with the shooting phase. All right, shooting phase. We're going to start with him shooting into his Catacomb Command Barge over there. Hitting on 3. That's a hit. Wounding on a 5. No wound. These guys are going to fire into this Catacomb Command Barge, so hitting on 3s. We've got 3 hits. Wounding on 5s. Whoa. All right, got 1 6, so it's a mortal wound, plus you get the usual save. 3 up. No, so he takes 2 wounds. All right, so he's going to fire his Exodus pistol into them. So hitting on 2s. That's a hit. Wounding on 2. I'm going to use my command point to reroll that. There we go. That's a wound. AP -3, so 6 up. Nope. And now, so now it does D3 damage. 1 damage. Okay. And then Azrael's going to shoot his bolt pistol here, hitting on a 2. It's a hit. Wounding on a 3. That's a wound. 6 up save. No, so he takes a wound. And he's going to fire his Stormbolter into him, hitting on 3s. All right. Wounding on 5s. We got 3 wounds. 3 3-ups. Oh, takes 2 wounds. And that's it for shooting, so we'll move on to the fight phase. All right, so I'm going to activate Azrael over here. So 5 attacks, hitting on 2s. Alrighty, re-rolling failed hits. Okay, not meant to be. Strength 6, so wounding on 2s. All right, so that is 4 hits, and he does not get any saves, so he will be dead. All right, now he's going to activate his destroyer here, hitting on 3s, 2 hits, wounding on strength 4, so wounding on 4s. That's no wounds. And then I'm going to have his 5 attacks, hitting on 2s. Alrighty, wounding on 5s. We got 2 wounds. 2 3-ups. No, fails both of them. And that is it for the Dark Angel's turn here. We will come back to you after movement phase for the Necrons. All right, so first we're going to start with the reanimation protocol here. So he is going to try to roll here. So there's 2 guys missing from there on a 5-ups. 1 comes back. And he's going to command point re-roll that. Oh, and both come back. Well played. And now the Immortal is going to go. So we got 2 looking for 5-ups. Nothing from them. And then 1 from them. No, not back. All right, movement phase for the Necrons. These guys have all come up this way, looking on him. They are locked in combat. He moved up here, so he's really close to them. He's moving up there, looking on him. These guys moved up here, and they started shuffling down the ruins over there. So that is it for the movement phase. At the end of the movement phase, he has a Scarab Swarm, which might come back. No, they do not. All right, so that is it for movement. We'll come back to you with the shooting. All right, so starting off, he is going to put his, what is it? Antimatter Meteor into my Vindicator because it says it's just the closest visible model. Doesn't say anything about being in combat, and he can't actually see Azrael here. So, on a 2+. Yep, and D3. 1 wound. Okay. Oh, he's going to re-roll it with a command point, his last command point? Ah, back down to 1. Okay. So he takes 1 wound. All right, so now his Immortals, he's going to shoot the 3 squad into Azrael, hitting on 3s. All right. Wounding on 4s. Oh, wait, strength 5? Either which way, that still works. So it's on 3s, so it's 2 shots, 2 up armor. He's good. And now the 5-man squad's going to fire in. 3 ups. All right. Pretty good. +4. Yep, +4 because the 6 is there. Now these are wounding on strength 5. So wounding on 3s. Oh. 10 wounds. So we've got 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 2-ups. Oh. All right, so he takes 3 wounds. And now his warriors are going to fire into Azrael. So here comes 18 shots, all but 2 can see him. All right, hitting on 3s. Strength 4, so wounding on 4s. Oh, pretty good. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 minus 1 plus 1 for being in cover. So we've got 8 2+. 8 2+. And I fail another one. And now he's going to fire into here. So he's going to be hitting on 3s because it's a heavy weapon. All right, 2 shots. 2 hits. Strength 5, so wounding on 3s. That's 2 wounds. -3 plus 1 for cover. So 3 up becomes 6 up, becomes a 5 up. Make 1. 1 goes through. What is it? D3 damage. So he takes 1 damage. All right, and these guys now are going to fire in. This guy's now going to fire into my scouts. Hitting on 3s. That's 2 hits. Wounding on 3s. That's 2 wounds. -3 plus 2 because of the cloaks. So -1 becomes 5 ups. Make 1 of them. So 1 of them is just going to be dead. All right, so he is going to charge him in the assault phase. So 6 up on with the bolt pistol. Nope. So his charge distance. And he is in. Now he's going to charge into them. 3 shots hitting on 6s. Nothing there. His charge distance is in. And now the scarabs are going to go into him. Going to be firing both. So the bolters hitting on 6. All right, re-rolling because of his ability. Nope. And now the plasma. Re-rolling. Nope, nothing there. Their distance. 3 inches. Ooh, that might not get them in. Hold on. And he just made it in. All right. All right, we're going to start over here in the fight phase with him against his apothecary. So here comes his attacks. So those are 3 hits. Wounding on strength 7, right? So wounding on 3s. That one's cocked. So that's 3 wounds. AP -4. So yeah, he's just dead. All right. Now he's going to attack into these guys up here, hitting on 3s. All right, 2 hits. Hitting on 2, sorry. Wounding on 3s though. That's 2 wounds. -4, so that's just 2 guys dead. All right, so now the scarabs are going to attack in, hitting on 3s. All right, we'll come back to you with that. And now wounding on 5s. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 2-ups. Oh, and he failed 2, and that is Azrael being dead. All right.
Oh, no.
And now he's going to elect to do his destroyers first. So these are going to be hitting on 3s. All right. Wounding on 4s. We got 2 wounds. 2 4-up invul saves. And I make 1 of them. And now my Vindicator is going to attack back. He's got 5 attacks hitting on 2s. All right. Wound. You know what? I'm going to use my command point on that one. No. Okay. And now, wounding on 5s. We got 2 wounds. 2 3-ups. He failed 1s. That means that one guy is dead. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we're going to call it. So that was a brutal, brutal game. He just overran me. That's just kind of the way it goes down. There was a couple bad rolls on my part, but, I mean, that's not how a game ends. He just played it really well and just charged up and beat me to a pulp. So, yeah, I hope you guys all enjoyed it. I definitely did. It's a lot of fun being able to make those detachments now with the assassins in there, with the Dark Angels. Really adds a little. That Vindicare really made his points back. He was pretty awesome because they're a lot cheaper now, which is awesome. And so I think they're more in line with what they can actually accomplish versus what they kind of on paper they always used to look like they were just super badasses, but just the fact that it's only one guy that's doing it made it a little less effective. So bringing down their points, I think, really makes them much better option to take. So I hope you guys all enjoyed it. I certainly did. This was a fun narrative, being able to play it. It just adds a little different take on it. If you don't just want to beat each other in the face over and over again, you can kind of do these other additional ideas that they've got that just come straight in the regular book. So it's pretty fun. And we just did it points-wise. They talk about command points for this, and you can run it with command points, but we also just chose to use the match play with it. So that was kind of interesting. So, yeah, I hope you guys all enjoyed it. I certainly did. I have been Phil, the Glacial Geek, as always. My opponent has been Jacob. And until next time, have fun. Oh, and make sure that you check out his Facebook page, which is facebook.com/PaizPaints, P-A-I-Z Paints. And I'll put a link in the description below so you can go check it out. He actually has a painting a commission painting service. That's the word that I was looking for. Thank you, sir. So check those out, and I will put a link in the description below so you can go check him out. Awesome paint jobs. So, as I said, until next time, guys, have fun.